Hi, students. Today I'm going to be reading for you a book called Air Hugs, Not Bear Hugs. And it's about how Peyton the panda learns to follow the rules of wearing a mask and social distancing when she goes back to school during the pandemic. Now, I'm sure you've heard a lot of news and stories about how school will be different this year. So, with this book, I hope to put your mind at ease that everything will be okay and pretty soon we'll be back to normal. So, I'm going to share my screen to read this book to you. And this book was written by me just for you kids at King and Queen Elementary. And the pictures are done by my daughter, Rebecca, who is 13. She did these on the computer that a program attaches to her computer. The night before the first day of school, Peyton Panda was tucked into bed, snug as a bug in a rug. But she didn't feel warm and safe this time. Peyton felt butterflies bumping around in her tummy. She hadn't been to school since March. Peyton didn't understand why her school closed down. The grown-ups talked about it quietly, and the TV announced it loudly all day long. But she still didn't know what was happening to her world. "What's a virus?" Peyton asked Papa Panda. "It's something that makes you sick," said Papa. But Peyton didn't feel sick or know anyone else at school who was sick. No one had red spots or a runny nose, except for Peter Panda, but he had a runny nose all the time. All through spring and summer, Peyton missed her teacher and her friends. She wanted to see them, but she knew school was going to be different, maybe even a little scary. "I'm nervous about tomorrow," Peyton said to Mama Panda. Mama wrapped Peyton in a big bear hug. "It will be all right," she said reassuringly. "Everyone will be so happy to see you again." The next morning, Peyton munched a bamboo salad, combed her black and white fur, and brushed her teeth really well so her breath wouldn't stink up her mask. She hurried out the door to her bus stop, but Mama called from the inside. "Peyton, you forgot something." A brightly colored mask was swinging from Mama Panda's finger. Peyton didn't like her mask very much, even though it had cute unicorns and rainbows on it. It was hot and itchy and pulled the fur on her ears. "Why do I have to wear this all day long?" she complained to Mama. "So you won't catch the virus," said Mama, "or give it to someone else." With a grumpy pout, Peyton climbed on the bus. Only two other pandas were on board, and they were sitting far apart. Peyton waved, but she couldn't tell whether her classmates were smiling at her or not. The masks hid everyone's mouth. When she got to her classroom, Peyton saw her best friend from last year. She ran up to Penelope Panda to give her a big bear hug. "Stop," said the teacher, Miss Parker. "We can't hug this year. We must stay 6 feet apart." Peyton and Penelope just looked at each other sadly and waved. All day long, Peyton felt sad because school wasn't the way it was last year. No one could eat lunch in the cafeteria. Pandas couldn't climb on the playground equipment. And all around was the smell of hand sanitizer and cleaners that gave her a headache. "How was your first day of school?" asked Mama when Peyton walked in the door with her shoulders slumped. "It was awful," said Peyton as she finally took off her mask for a breath of fresh air. "What happened?" asked Mama, pulling Peyton into a big mama bear hug. "There was none of this," answered Peyton. "No hugging, no playing close to anyone, no fun." Later that evening, Mama Panda talked to Papa Panda. "What can we do to make Peyton feel better?" asked Mama. "Well, we can't change what's going on in the world," said Papa, "but I have an idea that might help." Papa Panda drew a big panda bear onto a poster board, then bent his arms like it was ready to give a hug. He decorated it with markers and showed it to Peyton. That's cute, said Peyton. What's it for? It's for showing kids how to give air hugs, said Papa. What's an air hug? Asked Peyton with a wrinkled brow. An air hug is when you reach out toward a person and move your arms like you're hugging them, but you still stay at a safe distance. You mean 6 feet apart? Asked Peyton. I got so tired of hearing that today. Yes, said Papa. The good thing about an air hug is that you can do it from really far away and it won't spread any germs. The next day, Peyton took her poster board bear to school for show and tell. She made the bear's arms move and told the other pandas what an air hug was. Miss Peters loved it, and she had all the little pandas stand up and practice. Right away, everyone was laughing. They forgot about all the bad stuff going on in the world. That night, Peyton thanked Papa Panda for helping her find a way to show her friends she was happy to see them. There may be no bear hugs allowed at school, but you can always give your friends air hugs, said Mama Panda. Air hugs, not bear hugs, shouted Peyton, as her parents drew her into the biggest bear hug she'd ever had. But, said Peyton, I will always love your bear hugs the best.